Oh man, you guys thought the delay on Mr. Wazoo was long. Hello everybody, welcome to the Wonky Angle, where I talk about electronic music, both new and old. And today I'm talking about the sorta new album from Matmos, Ultimate Care 2. Yes, I'm aware I'm extremely late to this one. This album came out near the beginning of this year, and I've been getting a number of requests to cover it. Well, mainly just one guy, but whatever. I figure since the year is almost over, I had time to catch up on one album that I missed from earlier this year, and out of all the bands that I missed, Matmos was definitely one of the most intriguing that I'd come across. So, Matmos are an experimental duo from San Francisco, consisting of Drew Daniel and MC Schmidt. And they are one of the weirdest bands I've ever come across, even by my standards. They're a band that loves using samples and weird concept albums, and the samples they use aren't like DJ Shadow or anything. They're very unusual, ranging from like household objects, like, I don't know, water bottles or something, to surgery. I'm kind of not sure what to think of them. They're not always the most listenable of bands, but they're certainly one of the most unique and creative bands I've ever seen, making music out of stuff you'd never think could be made into music. I suppose I'll go down their discography so far. If Outtaker were a sample-based band, they'd probably sound like this. Not the most consistently listenable, but it is a very strange and interesting listen, to be sure, solidifying Matmos as that weird band who sampled the neural activity of a crayfish. This one's mostly based around samples of household objects, from balloons to audio interference to banjos to laughing and coughing. But honestly, it's not as engaging as the debut. This one tried the novel concept of playing with actual instruments. I actually like this one a lot more. Even if it doesn't sample so much weird stuff, a little melody goes a long way. Almost sounding like a Fortet or Amorphous Androgynous in some parts. This one is based around samples of surgery being performed. And it turned out a lot better than I probably just made it sound. Another more acoustic, actual instrument kind of album, like The West. This one kind of got more of a historical theme. And again, getting some serious Fortet vibes off of this one. So this album is supposed to be a tribute to 10 gay and lesbian figures, and it is all over the place. You get pleasant jazz-influenced stuff 1 minute, and then, like, literal shit another. Like, seriously, I think they sampled a digestive tract or something. Like, this album contains 0 samples, only synthesizers. And I think it's some of their best material to date. So, from what I understand, for this album, they tried to telepathically communicate the concept of this album with some people, and use their responses as samples. Okay then. That being said, this was also one of their most enjoyable releases to date. Which brings us to here. Jeez, that was a lot to take in. I will admit that sometimes I think this band kinda goes overboard with its samples and forgets to make actual music, but they just as often do make actual music without really sampling weird stuff. And on top of that, they've managed to work the two extremes work together pretty well on several occasions. There have been several albums of theirs that have been consistently enjoyable from start to finish. Going to this new album, I figured there was basically nothing they could do to surprise me at this point. Once you sample the neural activity of a crayfish, create an album of plastic surgery samples, and then try to realize an album through telepathy, basically anything goes at this point. So, with this latest effort, their instrument of choice is a washing machine. And only a washing machine. Okie doke. And I do actually think washing machines can make some cool sounds, so I just kind of sit back and hope for the best. How did it turn out? Well, about as reasonably well as you could ever expect music made using a washing machine could be. I mean, of course they edited stuff. Like, you don't just hear water sloshing around and that's it. It's not that avant-garde. Like, there's rhythms from banging on the side of the machine and layered on top of each other. They glitch stuff up. They even do something to the washing machine sounds to, like, make it sound like synthesizer melodies. I don't know if it's micro-editing, or maybe it's edited from beeps the machine made, or I have no idea. There are definitely some sounds in there that don't sound like they were naturally made with a washing machine. And there's actually quite a bit of variety, too. Like, you wouldn't expect that, given the fact that this album is only one 38-minute long track, which, fittingly enough, is the length of the wash cycle for the machine they used. But, yeah, there's actually several different sections of this album that vary in tempo and intensity. Most of them are actually pretty fast-paced. Sure, you do get one section that's just the water sloshing to a rhythm, but then you get banging percussion that sound like something out of a more recent Monolake album. Actually, there is somewhat of a Monolake kind of vibe to this whole album, from the synth textures to the percussion tones. Does come off to me pretty similar to like Momentum or VLSI. I mean, this did come out before VLSI, but the point still stands. I'd be lying if I said I had a ton else to say other than that, though. I mean, it's consistently enjoyable from start to finish. It actually sounds like music. It's got a nice atmosphere, and it's got typically unusual source material, as always, for Matmos. I am certainly glad that I sat down with these guys and checked out what they had to offer. I don't know if this is the best thing they've ever done, but I think it's one of their better ones for sure. So overall, I'm feeling a 7.7 out of 10. But of course, this is just my opinion. You can feel free to disagree with it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, so leave the comments in the comment thing down there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all for today. See you next time.